through the fire and snow. Voices of a north in the cold wind blow.
Shadows in the night, but the stars still glow. If I fall tonight, let the whole world know.
Calling me home where the old gods stand, through the storm and the blood red sand. The sky falls down and the rivers run slow. Hear my name in the winter snow.
Steel in the hand when the long ships sail, cold in the lungs when the night winds wail. Came from the frost where the brave don't fail. Every star got a story to tell.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. My name is Gothi Dan, and I'm the Gothi for Hammer's Omnibus. You might know me by other names, considering I've gone by many names. Within the Hammer's Omnibus, I've gone by names such as Gothi Dan, Druid Viking Dan, Gatorman Dan, among others. And my gaming tag is Hellbound 1985. I've been the Gothi for Hammer's Omnibus for about 6 years. Started off as what we titled the First Advisor, and when we switched from Hammers of Ohio to independent from a group, we substituted the First Advisor position for Gothi, which is essentially what a First Advisor is. But today we're going to be talking about this wonderful thing we call a Book of Shadows, or a grimoire in some cultures and religions. What a Book of Shadows is, what it consists of, how to use one, and the different names it goes by different cultural practices, even within the Norse religion. When we speak of a Book of Shadows within the Norse pagan tradition, we are not just talking about a simple notebook or a collection of spells in our path. The book becomes a living companion to the practitioner and a vessel of memory and a mirror to the soul's unfolding journey. In heathenry, knowledge is not something handed down as fixed doctrine. It is something earned through experience, reflection, and repeated engagement with the unseen. Because of this, our Book of Shadows becomes a sacred artifact of our wyrd. The woven pattern of choices and consequences that shape our lives. Unlike traditions that guard their books as secret scripture, the Norse approaches the practical. What is learned must be lived, and what is lived must be recorded, so that we may return to it again and again and again, as our understanding of our belief deepens. In the Northern Path, we often give the books names that reflect our culture and our worldview. Godrebok is a book of magic, ruins, and the art of Gordir, the chanted force that shapes intuition. A seidr scroll is the record of trace work and spiritual journeys you may take. Tied to the practice, sorry, we have an ant problem here, of seidr. A rune scroll is a runic ledger where the meanings behind runes and divination results are preserved. A blot book, or blot book, is the ritual book containing the structure for blots, the Norse holidays. A sumbel is a seasonal rites. Some keep a herfen book, or a raven book, dedicated to the omens and dreams that they have. Others simply call theirs the Bach, their working book. Whether the name has a purpose is the same to preserve the wisdom gained through practice. Pardon me. The Norse Book of Shadows begins with the worldview, because our practice is inseparable from our cosmology. We record our understanding of Yggdrasil, the world tree whose roots and branches bind the Norse realms together. We write about the Aesir and the Vanir, and the two tribes of gods, and how personally experienced deities like Odin, Thor, Frey, and reflect on the Jotnir. Not the monsters, but the ancient forces of wilderness and transformation. We describe encounters of the Lemfatir, the spirits of places, whose presence can be felt in the forest, rivers, and even city streets. Over time, these entities form a professional map, the unseen world, shaped not by a dogma, but by the lived experiences that we all have. The book also becomes a place where we wrestle with the deeper metaphysics of our path. We explore the weird, the web of fate, the Orlong, and the layer of inherited patterns and communities together. And on the ethics of oath-keeping, hospitality, and honor, these reflections help us anchor ancient values in modern life, making the book not just a record, a ritual, but a guide for how we choose to live. Ritual practice forms a major part of our books. We record the structures of our blots, describing how we hollow the space, call upon the gods and ancestors, offer meat or food, and close the rite with gratitude. We write down the words we speak and the gestures we use after each rite with gratitude. We return to the book to record what happened, and the atmosphere felt like what omens appeared and what insights arose. Some both, the ritual of toasting and oath-making, is also documented, including the toasts given and the outcomes of any vows spoken. Seasonal rites like life passage ceremonies, personal devotions find their place in the book as well, creating a record for an ever-evolving relationship with the sacred life. The ruins occupy a central place in many books of shadows. For each ruin of the Elder Thork, we write its meaning, the Goldir tones, and the personal experience with it. We draw bind ruins to use in our practices, in which we've created and record the results that they produced. We document our divination sessions, noting the ruins draw the interpretations made and the outcomes observed. Over time, it's becomes a powerful tool for tracking patterns and deepening our relationships with the ruins we live focused, with the living forces. For those who practice seidr, the book becomes a trance journeys in the spiritual encounters. We describe how we entered the trance through drumming, chanting, or breathwork, what we saw or felt during the journey. We record messages received, symbols encountered, and how we grounded afterwards. These entries help us track progress, identify recurring themes, and distinguish genuine spiritual experience from imagination. Ancestral work also finds its home inside this book. We record the names and the stories of our ancestors and family members who are long gone, offerings that we have made to them, and dreams in which they appear. We document encounters with spiritual lands and our house spirits, creating long-term records of our relationships with those unseen beings who share our exact world. This section becomes a spiritual family album, honoring those who came before and those who walk beside us in subtle ways. The most personal part of the book is our journals. Here we write our successes, failures, doubts, and breakthroughs. We record our dreams, visions, and emotional shifts. We reflect on how rituals affected us and how our understanding of the gods has changed us. This section is raw, I apologize, and honest. And it becomes the heart of the book, the place where our words become visible in the written world. In the end, the Book of Shadows becomes a legacy. One day it may be read by a student, a child, or maybe a future Gothi. It will not be present as a perfect saint, but as a real, honest-to-God living human being who struggled, learned, and grew in the ways in which he was taught. The book becomes a part of our urlog, something that hand forward into the future. It becomes a thread of the great tapestry of memory, joining voices of those who came before us. Hail the gods, hail the ancestors, hail the land Vatir, hail the work we preserve in our books. May our Bach grow with wisdom, courage, and truth. And remember, from Odin's breath, knowledge breathes eternal. So that's about 10 minutes on our intro video. I'm not sure if you want to go into details about it, but I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this forward like this. We're going to literally just turn this down like this and kind of give you a side view of our book of shadows. I'm going to move this up out of the way so I don't hit it. And this is the Hammers Book of Shadows. This took me 2 days of transferring everything, upgrading everything, and making things different. But you'll notice that as the Hammers grows, so will our Book of Shadows. And this is just the first volume of the Kindred's Book of Shadows. This Book of Shadows contains everything you might need for any kind of ritual work you might want to undertake. So it contains things like rituals and ceremonies of the North. That consists of like blots and offerings, rites and rituals, kindred rituals, blot rituals, how to open up and how to close a ritual space, to lore, wisdom, honor, study methods, structured learning, seidr, sight, and divination, teaches us about our divination spots, including having a section inside of this book for divination. It goes over nature craft, and land spirits. This is education on herbs, stones, stone information, working with life forces, elemental work, and finally ending with tools of the craft and Vitki work. This talks about what tools you would use, the roles of the Gothi and the ritual officers, the officer duties of the kindred bylaws, and the storage and travel. And it goes through different details, and as we go along through these videos, and we're probably going to have number 1 coming through shortly, thus after this video is posted, probably on Monday, which is going to be the 25th, or Memorial Day. We will go through the very first section of this book and give some talks about it. Just a heads up, while this video is going to be posted on YouTube, I'm not sure whether or not I want to post the other ones on YouTube. This is a kindred book. It might be posted on our Discord page. So if you guys are interested in joining Hammers Omnibus, taking part in some of these classes, let me know. I can literally send you the link to the Hammers Omnibus Discord page, where a lot of stuff that you won't be able to see here, you'll be able to see there. So with that being said, my name is Gothi Dan, the Gothi for Hammers Omnibus. And until next time, stay blessed, stay safe, may the gods follow you in your journeys, and remember, through Odin's breath, knowledge breathes eternal.